Hello and welcome to another episode of Breakfast with Judy. My name is Judy Trull. I am owner-innkeeper here at Lindsay House Bed and Breakfast. Today we're going to be sharing with you our recipe for scones. Scones has always been a little bit of a scary thing for me, so when I found a recipe that worked for me, I was very excited about that. Do cranberry orange scones because it's really a classic scone flavor. So come along with us as we make scones today here on Breakfast with Judy. What we have for you in this bowl is 3 cups of flour. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix in 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we're going to mix in 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. So here we have all of our dry ingredients. We are going to zest an orange. And what zesting that orange does is it's going to give these scones a really lovely orange flavor. So again, we're just zesting that orange. And you see as it has on the back of the zester, just take your finger. Again, one of God's best tools, your hands. And take that and just put that orange zest right in there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to stir this around to let that orange flavor infuse into that flour mixture. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut in 12 tablespoons of butter. And yes, we've already established in previous videos that we find it is our main job here at Lindsay House Bed and Breakfast to keep the dairy industry in business. We don't want to skimp on the butter. And the butter is what is going to give these scones a lovely, not only buttery flavor, but a really light texture. What you want to do is you want to cut this in until it resembles either coarse oatmeal or a really fine, small, pea-sized pieces of butter. Because what's going to happen is the heat hits that butter is going to melt, and then that expands the flour and it poofs up, and that's how you're going to get a really light, tender crumbed scone. So there you see, it's not going to all be uniform, but most of the pieces you want to have really small, about the size of a small pea. Just stir in 3/4 of a cup of dried cranberries. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of buttermilk. The key to mixing your scones is you do not want to get them, you don't want to mix them too much. It's a pretty fine balance. But remember, this isn't rocket science. We're just cooking. So maybe one time your scone is going to be a tad less tender than the next time. You're going to find what is going to work best for you and how to work that dough and get all the flour incorporated without working it too much. And as I have worked with this recipe, I have become a little more comfortable with it. I still try to not work this dough, as I said, very much, but you've got to get this, you've got to incorporate that flour in there, so you can't be afraid to work with it. You just don't want to overwork it. And as I said, it is a fine balance, but certainly something that can be accomplished because I have made some pretty killer scones. So as you see, I still have some flour mix, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here on my granite countertop. Maybe you don't have granite countertops, and that's okay. You could also use like a pastry board. They have sheets that you could use like parchment paper to work these scones on, and that would be totally fine too. So again, just working that in there, getting that flour incorporated, and getting those pieces in there.